Okay, so hi everyone. I just want to thank you first of all for watching me speak today. Really appreciate it. And today I want to talk to you about pineapple on pizza. Okay. Now there are very few topics more divisive than the question of pineapple belonging on pizza. The question has sparked political controversy on the world stage, ended relationships and friendships alike. So today I'm going to try to convince you to give the sweet and savory creation another try. Now, to do this, I want to first dive into the history of the Hawaiian pizza and explain its origins and cultural background. I also want to highlight what food science tells us about this unlikely combo, and finally explore the cultural significance of pineapple on pizza and why it might not deserve all the hate. So I want to first talk about the history and the creation of pineapple pizza. So we trace its roots back to the first modern common pizza we know today, which the first recorded event of that happening was in Italy in 1889. Now, the pizza, as we know it today, came to North America in the early 1900s when Italian immigrants came to the northeastern part of the United States. The Great Depression saw a loss in popularity, but we see a resurgence in its popularity after American GIs that were stationed in Italy came home from the war, and that's why we see a lot of pizza shops opened 1946, 1948, stuff like that. Now, of course, not just American GIs came home from Italy, Canadian GIs did as well. And one of those was Sam Panopoulos. And Sam immigrated to Canada, and in 1954, he immigrated to Canada in 1954, which is right around the time that Hawaii became a U.S. state. And in 1959, when Hawaii did officially become a U.S. state, there was this huge island craze. Everyone in North America wanted a taste of this Hawaiian, the vibe and the island lifestyle. And so we see the Hawaiian brand canned pineapple. And this is where it gets interesting. Sam was very young at the time. He was a young businessman trying to make a name for himself. He had a restaurant called the Satellite Grill, and he was experimenting with pizza. And he put this Hawaiian brand pineapple on the pizza in 1962. And when he was trying to figure out what to name it, he just stole the name from the can. So the Hawaiian pizza isn't named because it's Hawaiian. It's named because he was lazy and just took the name right off of the can that he got the pineapples from. So, of course, this Hawaiian pizza, as it became, known, started out with this sort of unlikely story invented in Canada by a Greek immigrant, right? And the 60s and 70s were also a time when Pizza Hut, Papa John's, all these sort of new pizza chains were coming out. Canned pineapple is really easy for a pizza chain to get a hold of and store. And so we have this pizza created in 1962 during this time when island lifestyle is really big. These pizza chains are expanding, and the Hawaiian pizza spreads with it. And so it became very popular in the 60s and 70s, fell out of fashion a little bit, but we see the Hawaiian pizza has always maintained sort of a cult following, if not, widespread popularity. Now, food scientists and classically trained chefs have had lots to say about the pineapple on the pizza. One food scientist, Ishwara Badager, said, "It seems plausible that the sweetness of pineapple would pair nicely with the saltiness of the pizza sauce. Eventually, sweetness signals presence of an energy source to humans, whereas salt indicates a balance of electrolytes, which means we may be wired to like sweet and salty combinations," which makes sense. And if you think about a lot of Asian food, you see a lot of that sweet and salty ice cream, salted caramel, really popular now. But on the flip side, you have celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay tweets just a couple years ago, "Pineapple does not go on top of pizza." Right? Very simple. I'm sure a lot of you have seen some of Gordon Ramsay's work, and a lot of his stuff's very funny. So, it's hard to know who to believe. I'm sure not many of you have heard of that many food scientists. So I want to also just talk a little bit about some of the controversy that pineapple on pizza has started. And the most notable one that I can think of, and in my research that I found, was the president of Iceland receiving or sort of getting into hot water when he was joking around with some school children, saying that if he had the authority to make laws, he would ban pineapple on pizza. And the Canadian Prime Minister at the time justified this Canadian creation, and it was such a worldly topic that people from all around the world were sending pineapple pizzas to the president of Iceland's door and to the embassies all over the world. So it was a pretty big. I mean, it was a big thing. I don't know. It happened a couple years ago. And if you Google it, you'll find tons of articles, tweets, and everything. And what I think is really interesting, though, about the pineapple on the pizza is that it's such a symbol of what makes the world an interesting place to live. I mean, here we have this creation invented by a Canadian who immigrated from Greece using Italian food concepts brought to the American Northeast, sorry, and it's topped with a fruit found in the Pacific. And whether you like it or not, it's a symbol of a successful mashup of different cultural institutions. And I just want to wrap up by saying that, the Hawaiian pizza and the pineapple as a pizza topping in general has divided friends, experts, and even countries. And while I myself am definitely on Team Pizza, there are plenty of people that aren't. And in this graph that I found here, not sure if you can read it, but it says that this was a poll taken in 2019. 24% of people in this poll said that pineapple was their least favorite topping. 12% said it was their favorite, and it's the most divisive one on this survey. And so I think that a lot of people, and rightly so, are divided. People don't know what to think about it. But I think that the sweet and salty combination really works well. And it's a great way to enjoy pizza with a totally different taste. I mean, if you just don't want something that's the same all the time, you get a Hawaiian pizza. And even if you don't feel like you like pineapple pizza, I really would encourage you to give it another try, or at least just accept it as a symbol of the intersection of cultures that I think is really important nowadays, especially with these political debates. And, you just feel like there's a lot of hatred out there, and there's a lot of people just not agreeing on things. But I think we should at least be able to agree that everyone has their own right to enjoy their pizza toppings, how they like it. And even if you don't like it, I really would encourage you to give it another try. A lot of people get conditioned by social media, and, bringing it back here to America, I think America's greatest strength is their diversity, and this Greek-Canadian invention is a perfect example of that. And so with that, I picked up a little Hawaiian pizza for myself after work. So again, I just want to thank everyone for watching me speak today, and hope everyone has a great weekend. So